The fusion sealing is a great way to beautify any area. Fusion sealing panels install easily by using a simple lift and twist motion of the panel into a heavy-duty 15/16" grid. The panel reveals are aligned with the grid and secured to the grid with the tall safety clips. Twist the panel at an angle. Set an end clip into the grid, rotate it straight, then lift the end over the grid. Lift the other end, push in the safety clips, lift the panel level, and lower it into place. Set the clips on the rail, slide to the end, lift to clear the other end, and lower into place. The panel twist angle is about 30 degrees, with one end setting on the grid rail. Push in the tall safety clips and lift the other end, aligning it with the grid so it can be easily lowered into place. Then check the reveal for consistency. To install the clips, set the panel on a soft work surface. Each of the 6 lift and twist clips have pre-drilled or back-tapped holes on the back of the panel. Clip alignment is very important. On one end, which is the first end lifted to the grid, so let's call it the first end, the clips are set differently from the rest. At the first end, the flanges face outward toward the sides of the panel. Make sure the edge of the clip is flush with the edge of the panel. In the middle, they face toward the second end. At the second end, they face toward that end of the panel. The tall safety clips also have pre-drilled back-tapped holes at each end. Secure these carefully with 2 screws each. Make sure the safety clip hook faces outward toward the panel end. To review, the first end clips face sideways. The middle clips face the second end. And the second end clips face that end. The safety clips are critical. Don't install them with fewer than 2 screws each. Remember or mark which end installs on the grid first. To install panels with cutouts for air vents, sprinklers, or lights, measure carefully for each cutout. Use installed panel edges as references, subtracting for the reveal gap. A carpenter's square will allow better accuracy for measuring circular cutouts. Use the same panel edge reference for consistency when laying out the panel cuts. Draw the orientation and measurements of each of the cutouts referenced from the top. Show the drawing orientation on the panel, then double-check the hole locations relative to the top of the panel. Carefully transfer the cutout measurements onto the top or Soundtex-covered backside, observing the orientation of each end. Use a square to draw boundary lines for the circular cutouts. Keep in mind that fusion perforated panels will have perf holes that will affect drawing clean lines and cutting out holes. Measure and mark the sides, top, and bottom of larger cutouts and the centers of smaller drill-out holes. By drawing cutout boundaries, the cutting templates, usually made from scrap cardboard, can be lined up more accurately for using a saber saw to cut the hole cleanly. This method works well for holes that are not exactly circular or are oddly shaped. Observing the shape orientation of the template is important. Centering marks are especially useful for odd-shaped cutting templates. For cutting smaller, round holes, a hole saw is recommended. For these, a centering mark works best. A circle helps note where to drill. Use the same size drill bit as the one for the hole saw drilled from the top. Before flipping the panel over to use the hole saw, mark and cut out the larger hole. Line up the cardboard template on the centering marks. Then draw the cutting path for the saber saw. Remember that the fusion perf panels have small holes that will affect your drawing. Drill the saber saw starter hole and begin cutting the larger hole with the saw. The perforations may affect the saw blade, so cut slowly and carefully. A finished grade saw blade is highly recommended. Now flip the panel over to drill the smaller hole with a sharp hole saw bit using the previously drilled guide hole. After installing the lift and twist clips only at the second end, Place that end on the grid and carefully lift the cutout panel straight into place to check the fit. Cutout panels typically cannot be twisted into place, so the middle and first end clips must be installed from the top. To hold the panel in place, temporarily clamp it to the adjacent panel with soft tip clamps. This is where the pre-drilled back-tapped holes are handy. Line up a clip over the first set of corner holes, clamp it in place, and screw it in from the top. Drive in both screws. Then position, clamp, and drive in the middle clip. Repeat on the other side corner. Carefully clamp down the clip and drive in both screws. Clamp the last middle clip and drive in the 2 screws. Please note that safety clips are needed for this cutout panel. The unique design of the lift and twist clips make fusion panel ceiling installations both easy and beautiful.